The attorney I interviewed for this project is also a state legislator, someone I know from when I interned at the state capitol in February as part of the Fraser Singleton internship program. They preferred to remain nameless because they were quite forthcoming with me and because of the political climate nowadays. First question we agreed to ask was, what type of cases do you generally handle? And they worked with family law, and often child abuse and neglect cases, representing both parents and children, although they said they preferred representing vulnerable children. And their approach. The second question was, what is your approach or philosophy to winning or representing a case? Now, they said they approach their philosophy to representing a case, they treat it on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes they work with parents that are accused, rightly or wrongly, of some pretty horrible things, and sometimes they work with children who are allegedly victims of terrible things, which, again, is sadly true in a lot of the cases. Treating it case by case is very important because of the delicate nature of their work. With regards to winning the case, obviously they want to get the truth out there because ultimately that benefits their clients more than anything, whether that's the young child who's been abused or the parent who potentially has been falsely accused. The truth, whether they're representing a parent or a child, is the ultimate goal. So their philosophy is facts, truth, very thorough prep work, interviews with family members, people who know them, being very, very obsessive with the details, double checking, triple checking, just making sure they've verified the facts. The third question was, what is your typical day like? And this was the interesting answer. They said, although they have a lot of face-to-face interaction with their clients, whether it's the vulnerable children or the parents, a lot of their work was spent in the office doing administrative work, typing up documents, filing cases. It was meeting witnesses and victims. It was interesting that most of their work consisted of office work for me, because my perception of the law has generally been what I'd seen in movies. So the fact that they said they were sat behind a desk most of the day was something that was new to me for sure. Our question number 4 was, what is your biggest strength that makes you such a great attorney? Now, in the kind of cases that this person was looking at, they said probably empathy. Again, representing parents who are in a situation in which they're potentially being accused of abuse when they haven't actually done it. A certain element of empathy is required because that must be a horrible situation to be in, as they said. And similarly with young children being accused of allegedly being abused, sometimes quite horrendously, empathy with the young child is of utmost importance. They also said patience, especially with the young children, because sometimes it can be hard to get through to them. I know from personal experience as a child that when I was going through a bad time, I used to shut off a lot and it was very difficult to get through to me, and and the attorney acknowledged that having that skill, being able to get through to someone, being able to understand people, be patient and be willing to hear what they have to say, that's a very important part of their job. Now, the 5th question was, what project are you most proud of? And the attorney I asked answered any case that results in the best possible outcome for their clients. So whether that's the parents who get to see their children again who have been wrongly accused, or saving a young child from a home life full of abuse and neglect. Again, they just said, knowing that they've made a good difference to someone's life. You kind of can't put a ranking on that. It's all extremely valuable and a very rewarding part of the job, which I imagine it would be. The last question was, do you prefer working alone or in a team situation? My attorney said they enjoy they enjoy either. They said working alone, you perhaps can be a little bit more productive in your individual work, but when you're not working alone, either when you have someone supervising you or a partner going over the cases, they might spot certain details, such as an inconsistency in a story, or something like an alibi that doesn't add up, or something in the timeline of a certain day that doesn't make sense. They said if they had to pick, they probably like working in a team more, just because of the delicate nature of the situation. A problem shared is a problem halved, and when you're dealing with cases like child abuse and neglect, having to deal with that on your own can be traumatizing. So having someone to share that with does help. Now, this person was extremely productive for me. They went out of their way to help. We had this interview at a restaurant in Princeton, nothing fancy, quite an informal setting, and they were very candid. I'm very grateful, and I wish I could name them because of how forthcoming they were, but I'm respecting their right. I'm respecting their request not to name them, but I'm very grateful, and this assignment was very insightful because something like family law, as I said at the start of the video, it's not something I have personally been interested in or something I've considered before. I'm more of a constitutional law, criminal law, and specifically focusing on family law. It never crossed my mind. So speaking to someone about how this kind of work can be so rewarding, it was certainly interesting, and it was great to hear a new perspective in a field of law that I hadn't really considered before. And again, the thing that I really took out of this was their work, how delicate their work with child abuse and neglect victims is. I read those stories in the news, and a lot of the times it makes me feel sick. Some of the things that people have to go through, and what touched me about this was that this attorney deals with this kind of thing every single day, and I respect them a great deal because I'm not sure I could do it. They said it can be extremely difficult at times, emotionally, the emotional toll it takes, but at the same time, that's why when they get a successful result, like getting a child out of a home in which they are a regular victim of abuse and neglect, that can be the most rewarding also. So although it can be harrowing, the end result, knowing that you've perhaps saved a child's life, or at least their emotional and physical well-being, or that you've reunited parents with a child who had been wrongly removed from them, both of those outcomes are extremely rewarding. I'd just like to reaffirm how grateful I am for the person to go out of their way to talk to me about some pretty horrible things. I don't want to go into too much detail about the things they go with for obvious reasons, but it's the work they do is amazing, and I really respect people who go into that field because, like I said, I haven't considered it, but I'm glad that people do it because it's a very important role. And like this person says, they can sleep at night when they know that they've got the right result, whether that be placing a child with parents wrongly accused, or whether that's saving a child from an abusive home. Thank you.